What's up, everyone? Sean Count Blackguard here today with an EP review, this time of the 2016 self-release by Mental Cruelty, Pereat Mundus, I believe is how you'd say the title of this. This review was a request by Andrew Velma, I believe is how I would say your name, over on my Patreon. If you want to say what I review next, check out my Patreon link will be down below, as well as links for this release that I will be talking about. And thank you, Andrew, for your very generous support. If you're not familiar with Mental Cruelty, they are a German slamming deathcore band. And this was my first exposure to them. I never heard them before until this review was requested. And I was told, and I was reading everywhere, that they were labeled as slamming down tempo. And I'm not going to get into genre arguments if slam's a genre or if down tempo or whatever. I'm not going to get into that. I had somewhat of an idea of what I was going to get into, and it wasn't really that down tempo. But with that said, this is some heavy, heavy fucking shit that completely shocked me with how just over the top obnoxious it was. The thing is with this style is it can grow very, very, very tiresome very quick. And thankfully, this was a short EP, very short and to the point. And this thing is heavier than a bag of hammers. It feels like somebody is just bludgeoning you nonstop with just nasty and heavy slam after slam. And the great thing is about this, the production isn't terrible. The production actually kind of aids with this sort of barbaric and extremely heavy sound, because if the production is too thin with this type of music, it tends to lose any sort of depth or any sort of clarity, and it just kind of becomes this sort of jumbled, weak, thin sounding mess. Thankfully, this EP has a very thick, heavy, heavy tone. I remember when I first put it on, and it starts with a blast beat, pretty heavy, like sort of chugging slam, devourment-esque riff with these really, really deep, powerful fucking gutturals. And I was like, all right, this is some pretty good sort of brutal death slam. But when the breakdowns hit, holy shit. If you're not a fan of slow breakdowns and just really over the top, almost Infant Annihilator style, obnoxiously heavy, massive breakdowns, this isn't for you. But I'm a huge fan of that sound. And to me, this was extremely well executed. While there isn't much variation between the songs that kind of make one track stand out apart from the next, there are certain segments within each song that are just so fucking cool. And a great example of this is the ending of the first song, where it has this really cool, like almost scratchy, horror synth sounding like violin that sounds like something straight out of like the Omen trailer, and how that just comes in after this huge breakdown hits and just kind of ends on that note, I think is extremely cool. And a lot of the things too that I like about it is the drum variation within the breakdowns and slams. It's not just your straightforward dun sort of thing. While it's there, he does mix it up with a kick drum, he does mix it up with blast beats, and it creates a bit more texture to something that I feel like could be relatively stale and relatively boring. He takes those parts and makes it even more stand out, and to me, that's absolutely sick. Faster parts are fast and heavy, just like you would want, but the slow and heavy is there, and it is brutal as shit. Other thing I like a lot too is the guitar and bass tone. The bass has a nice clarity to it. The guitar is thick and heavy. Everything just has the perfect tone for what they're going for. I feel like if they changed up their tone in any way, it would be a weak experience. And in fact, I feel like the tone in many ways is what makes this EP so damn good. But the thing to me, and especially as a vocalist, that was very, very surprising for me is how much I enjoyed the vocals. When it comes to vocals, I'm extremely picky. I love gutturals. I love them a lot. The lower the better, as long as they don't get the I can't even do the like sort of quality to it. Once when you get to that territory, I fucking hate it. Or the cricket sort of shit, I'm not a fan of. And I hate gutturals that sound deep, but you can hear like this whisper like quality to it because the vocalist isn't pushing. This vocalist, you can tell, is pushing everything he has behind every single word. Now, what those words are, I couldn't tell you. You cannot understand a single thing he's saying. These are just some of the nastiest, most stomach churning gutturals that just fit perfectly. And honestly, I feel like anybody that's really into that type of vocal style should love this band because his voice is insane. He has some variation. He's not 100% just staying into the more guttural, nasty, throaty territory. He kind of deviates a little bit here and there with more of like a straight low, some highs, very scattered. There are guest vocals on here. I wasn't familiar with the guy or what band he was from, and honestly, I had a hard time telling his part from the main vocalist part. But the vocal performance overall is just absolutely fantastic. And if you're a fan of just really heavy slamming deathcore, like I would say Ingested, and maybe they're considered that, maybe they're not. Another example would be if you want a slower, less technical version of Within Destruction, I would say this is also a very good place for you. Nothing feels plastic about it. It's a very solid, organic EP that I thoroughly enjoy, and I feel like a lot of you that are into that style would enjoy. Now, I feel like this band has a lot of potential, and I saw they're releasing an album next year, and I'm very excited for that because I'm hoping they dig further into this sound and just try to clean it up a bit and give it a bit more variation within. I feel like this formula that they have on this EP, while it's great, it can kind of grow a little long in the tooth. So I couldn't imagine a full-length release of this sound and getting the same enjoyment out of it that I got out of this really short 20 some odd minute EP. So with that being said, while it is kind of repetitive, it's still extremely enjoyable and extremely heavy and something I'm going to come back to continuously. And in fact, I'm going to try to purchase a CD copy of this if I can. I was streaming this off Google Play. It's available on pretty much all streaming services. I'll have a link down below to the Bandcamp page if they have one. All that shit, the band's Facebook. So check all of that out. I definitely recommend this EP. For a score, I am going to give it a very strong 7.5 out of 10. As I said, it's extremely enjoyable, mindless heaviness. And if you're just looking for something that is just stupid heavy for the point of being stupid heavy, this is for you 100%. And once again, thank you, Andrew, for suggesting this to me. If you guys want to say what I review next, link will be down below. And that is it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.